In the last episode, I blazed through the Deschutes National Forest and the lava fields, and I wandered into the Willamette and wound up going down this crazy switchback road into the deep, dark, tall forest of the Deschutes. And then I wound up rolling around many twisty mountain roads trying to find a campsite. Lots of dead ends, lots of big loops, and eventually I wound up camping in a neighborhood on the side of the McKenzie River.
Wow, big trees. These roads are fantastic. This road, this road in particular, you'd think it'd be all beat up, but they don't let trucks come through here, so 4,000 feet. Yeah, I would really like to camp down here. This is pretty amazing. We're almost in the rainforest down here. This looks really thick. Very tall, very thick. Yeah, nothing's burned over here because there's so much water. Yeah, everything's green. You can see. Wow, this is so nice. So good to get out of the desert and back into the forest. This is maybe on my top 10 list now. This is crazy. This is so much fun. And these trees, my God. These trees are insane. And it's another corkscrew. Just one after the other. Pig's tail. Pig's tail. Corkscrew. I'm very pleased. I am very pleased. Campground Trailhead, quarter mile. I'm sure it's $18 on this side too, which is not going to happen.
I was having such a good day riding, I took a detour up Cougar Reservoir, and I'm not sure if this is a federal installation. It's probably something to do with Corps of Engineers, but it looks like a mix of state, federal. I'm not really sure, but there's even though the roads were beautiful, even with the burnt trees, this is a fantastic road that takes you on the other side of the reservoir, next to the river, and that's the reservoir there. But as you start descending, you start seeing signs that say no camping, no this, no that. So apparently lots of people like me wanted to come up here and hang out on top of this reservoir and the river. But I guess the forest, the state, doesn't really want people camping up here, probably because they've done some damage. But it's just a beautiful ride. And even though there were some campgrounds, I couldn't remember how much they were charging, but it was more than I wanted to pay. And there were people there, which is always kind of a downer for me. But yeah, it was a good ride in and down and back to the river. And then I got to one point over here where looks like there was a trailhead, and trailhead parking is on the other side of the bridge. But you walk back you park and you cross back across the bridge, and you sign in. I even think that you have to pay this guy on the right there to hike the trail, which I thought was kind of bizarre. Um, you know, pay the guide at the booth for the pleasure of hiking the trail. Anyway, it was a dud. Thought I would come up here and see if there's a nice perch up here I could find.
with internet. I think I went too far past a black bear up here, and I thought, well, I don't have battery in my camera, and I'm only a few miles from Rainbow Falls, but it's a trailhead, so figured I'd come up here and turn around, get my battery situation straightened out, and then head back down and see if I can find Mr. Black Bear. I don't think he's that far away. Maybe a couple miles. If I get back to the logging crew, I've gone too far. Yeah, he was just standing in the road, and I was like, is that a statue or is that really a black bear? He's a small, cute little guy. Maybe 100 pounds. That's the way I like him. Small, cute, timid. He saw me and he ran into the woods, and then he sat there for a minute holding on to a tree. And then I figured, well, I don't have battery, I'll just ease by him. And he circled around the tree and started climbing, got up about 10-15 feet before I even got close to him. Bears are badasses, man. They'll eat anything. Most black bears are pretty timid. Unless you run into a mama with cubs, which is what I was afraid that was. He was so small, I figured mama could be right behind me and gonna tear me a new one. Because they don't fuck around with their kids, man. I can smell something. Very nice aroma. Yeah, he was up here somewhere, but I don't see him anymore. I guess he's burnt off. RUNNOFT. So this is what happens when you get off your fully loaded bike and your kickstand looks like it's going to hold, but then you get off your bike and it doesn't hold. I guess it could be worse. I guess it could be on top of me with all that crap on top of me, but yeah. It slammed to the hard, pretty ground, even though I tried to catch it right at the end. I couldn't catch most of it, but I was like, yeah, I don't want to break anything else. So I really tried really hard to catch it, which is usually a bad idea because I wind up hurting myself a whole lot more. But yeah, let me get this thing picked up and get my shit put up out of the way, and then go back down and get supplies kind of shaken up after that. Blah. Meetings that said if I have a big enough stick, I can move the world. I wonder if you had a stick that big. Well, this was starting to break down here, so it's moving though.
They always say lift with your knees, but if you got two bad knees, what do you use? Well, you use your back and a big stick. I finally got it up, but damn.
Bike's upside down. It's heavy as fuck. More now. I'm gassed. Not a bad spot, but I've spent so much time bleeding and struggling getting this bike up. I don't want anything else to do with this spot. So, you know, call me superstitious. Call me superstitious, and I'm really not. Wow, this bike. I can't believe I didn't really break anything here. Wow. All right. Start up for me, baby. Yeah, and we're rolling. And yeah, I don't think I broke anything except my spirit. Yeah, and there's some good spots up here, but I'm just thinking it's just got bad juju. It's just I'm not feeling it. There's poison ivy up here. There's all kinds of things that make me think, okay, well, I've got a pretty good excuse. And then there's the shit. If I have to pick this fucking bike up one more time because I didn't move out of this spot, I'm gonna be really pissed. And it may just be right down the hill somewhere. Find me a better spot just down the hill. It may be right all the way into town and figured out there. But I was having such a good time riding up this hill, I thought, okay, well, let's just keep going, see where it goes. We'll get way out of the way. And there's trees here. There's nothing really bad. I guess I'm just behind a fence that there's a lot of things that make me a little bit nervous. One of the biggest ones is I'm behind this fence. I'm about to show you. That may have just been unlocked. I don't know. And did they tie this thing up? What does it say? I don't know. I'm gonna keep going down this road. Got decent internet. I can at least send messages out. I can't really do much more than that, but I can't believe I didn't break my damn lever. Yeah, I don't know. I bet there's another creek right here. No, not much of a creek there. We're actually going, I just looked at it on the forest map, we're going around a golf course, so this thing's gonna shoot down the hill on the edge of the golf course. And I've passed that golf course before, I can't remember, it had some Indian name. Pretty sure this is private property. I'd just pop in a tree here. Yeah, it's all private property. Almost abandoned here. Hey!
It was really hard for me to believe how much time I spent riding around in the national forest trying to find a place to camp. All the burned areas had all the campgrounds in this area closed, and this is one of them. But yeah, I guess they've had trouble with people damaging parts of the woods, and they just were really tightly regulating the area and camping. So after, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 hours riding around in the forest trying to find a cool spot to camp, I wound up riding back close to town and camping in a neighborhood, stealth camping. And I cased the area pretty good before I rolled into the spot. Just make sure there were worst thing you can do is roll into a stealth camp with somebody watching you roll into your little niche. And that was the thing that I wanted to avoid. I found a good perspective pull off, and now that I think about it, it's probably on private property. It was so close to all the houses in the neighborhood that I'm thinking it was probably private property. But then again, it could have been backed up to the forest. Yeah, I figured I would at least check this out and tape up my wounds and put some Band-Aids on my bleeding skin and get some dinner in me before I made a decision where I would camp for the night.
It's a first for me. It's a big old breast on a stick. She said they were on the small side, so she gave me two. Pretty tasty. Got some honey mustard to go with them. I'm sitting here on the side of a river, I think, in a national forest, real close to a neighborhood, real close to the store that sold me this. We'll see how the night goes. It's still kind of warm here. 7 o'clock. I'm sorry, 5 o'clock.
All right, maybe you can help me figure this out. I'm not really sure how this is possible. This place can't be that stealthy. But it's stealthy enough on a road where people are driving. But I did have a concern. People that were hiking, I just had a couple hike by this way and that, and I was moving when they hiked by. So I'm not sure exactly how they did not see me. Maybe they were just ignoring me. Maybe I'm actually on Forest Service land, but yeah, there's my bike back there. Maybe the sun was coming in my eyes. I'm hoping. I don't want to disturb people. I don't like drawing attention to myself, even though I have a YouTube channel. But here's the question. Did they just not see me? Because it's clearly an entrance here. I just wondered, maybe I wasn't moving around enough. Maybe the noise from the river was more than they could handle. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna walk back up. I'm gonna walk back up and see how they missed me. Maybe there's a lot of light coming in. They just weren't looking. So they just walked back down that way. But originally, I mean, I could see them not seeing me this way, but coming this way. But going out this way, I don't know. Let's see. So I'm gonna walk kind of like they were walking, and just kind of look over there. I don't see anything, although there was so much light coming in. I just couldn't figure out how they possibly could have missed me. I was expecting the sheriff to show up any minute, but yeah, I guess that just kind of goes to demonstrate stealth, and that people are looking at the curves in the road even when they're hiking, because I can't see anything over there. I can't see my bike. So for them to see me, they would have had to walk down this road and then turn and look down this trail at the precise moment, which is when, I don't know. When is the precise moment? I just see a shadow in there. It's just a shadow. Probably should cover up those mirrors because they are reflecting light, but yeah. Guess I'm out of view, and they're so clearly obvious, both coming and going. Yeah, it's just guess it just goes to show you the stealth. The further you are off the road, the more stealthy you are, right? Just thinking about hanging my hammock, and we gotta give it a few more minutes, let the sun go down a little bit more, so I don't have to use my flashlight. Make sure you join me next time as I roll out towards the Oregon coast to camp in the forest with the biker Willie Nelson. See you then.